Amazing. And let's start welcoming everyone in, I think.
Welcome everybody. Please come in, sit down, and we'll start in a moment. Welcome everybody. Please enjoy a moment before we begin. Let us acknowledge the Wurundjeri people who are the traditional custodians of this land upon which we learn. Let us pay respect to the elders, past, present, and emerging of the Kulin nations, and extend that respect to the wisdom and knowledge they hold as we seek to expand and enrich our own knowledge and understanding. Marandindi, Principal Jeremy Stoe-Lindner, staff, students, parents, grandparents, and members of the Bialik community. I warmly welcome you to Ngarrgee, our very special Rosh Hashanah event for 2020, a night of celebration. As this is a live event, I ask everyone to please put their screen on Speaker View so that each presenter will be full screen on your computer. Additionally, please ensure that you are on mute at all times. Ngarrgee is a Woiwurrung word that translates as coming together, precisely what we are doing tonight. For the second year in a row, we are using our Rosh Hashanah event as an opportunity to engage with and promote awareness of Indigenous culture. This is most apt as in our Rosh Hashanah prayers, we say Hayom Harat Olam. Today the world was created. In the Jewish tradition, Rosh Hashanah is a day of global significance. To quote from Tehillim, the book of Psalms, the Lord looks down from heaven. He sees all mankind. From his dwelling place, he gazes on all the inhabitants of the earth. He who fashions the hearts of them all, who discerns all their doings. It is therefore appropriate that we use this time to reflect on the community and place within which we live and learn, and indeed come together. We are honored that Wurundjeri headman Marindindi will once again be joining us to conduct a traditional smoking ceremony from his home and to take questions from our students. In recognition of the end of one Jewish year and the start of another, we will also be thanking and farewelling the outgoing Year 12 Mazkirut leaders and welcoming the incoming Mazkirut group. We are so excited and thank you for joining us for this most significant of evenings. I'd like to start the evening by introducing Mia Malka and Megan Sweden to give us their final address as members of the Mazkirut cohort for the Jewish year 5780.
Good evening all, and thank you for joining us tonight. Rosh Hashanah is a time for reflection, relaxation, family, and new beginnings. It's already September and it's not exactly where we thought we would be. I'm sure many of us wish we could restart 2020, allow for the start of this new decade to resemble something even close to what we imagined it was going to be. Instead, we've had a year with missed opportunities, aspirations, and uncertainty. However, intertwined with all this uncertainty is an inexplicable sense of beauty, a time filled with memories we may have never made. Whether that be laughter shared with your family on a Saturday night, the renewed discovery and passion for cooking, or even those extra walks with your beloved dog. It truly has enabled all of us to slow down, take a deep breath, and appreciate the world that surrounds us. At this time of the year, we are now aware of the bittersweet realization that our time at Bialik College will be ending soon, with only a few weeks left to be surrounded by those who we have grown up with and our dearest teachers. It allows us to take a brief view into what awaits us. It's a life that many of us have been looking forward to commencing for so long, but it's now lightly twinged with this sense of sorrow as we reflect on everything that we are leaving behind. For the Mazkirut of 5780, this year has been far from what we envisaged. So much of what we dreamed of doing, from initiatives to our aspirations from when we were bright-eyed year 11s commencing this journey, was deemed as unachievable in a matter of weeks. As so many were, we were crushed by the unexpectedness of a global pandemic, left stranded and adrift in a state of limbo. However, we still persevered. We started this journey together and desired to finish it together. The resilience of this year's Mazkirut cohort has been our driving force as we have consistently strived to provide our Kehillah with the support, entertainment, and leadership that they sought. In an active attempt to meet the needs of all students, we can proudly say that the Mazkirut of 5780 has remained adaptable and continued to act as a pillar of support within our community. Whether that be through our numerous social media campaigns, our involvement in online primary school classes, or our continued initiatives changed to a virtual format.
Despite the challenges we faced, we can truly reflect on this year as one that will go down in Bialik history. It is crazy to think that just 1 year ago, Bialik was introduced to 16 passionate young leaders of the Mazkirut 5780 group. And tonight, we are saying goodbye. As with all Muskie Rim, we were divided into 6 Vatim portfolios, each of which reflect a different and exciting aspect of the college. This year, Kia and Brittany joined forces as leaders of Umaniot Arts. They took the blank canvas that was thrown at them when we started online school and gave it a splash of colour, demonstrating the uplifting power of the arts during these rather disheartening times. Yakira, Ariel, and Gemma headed up the Osher Sevet, Culture and Wellbeing. If there was one symbol that could capture the essence of Osher, it would have to be the man himself, Osher Gunsberg. Talented, enthusiastic, and always eager to tackle challenging issues such as mental health. He really is this Sevet's mascot. Mia, Jamie, and Jordan formed this year's Tikkun Olam group, Social Action. These girls have big hearts, just like the Valentine's Day chocolates that they organised. They use their passion for healing the world to raise awareness for important causes such as domestic violence and leukemia, and organise events like Girls' Night In. Timna, Haley, and I headed up Yahadut, Judaism. Known for our fabulous Friday morning toasties and tunes, this Sevet strove to add flavour to the Jewish culture of the school by means of both education and activity. No one will forget this year's virtual Chagim celebrations. The Briut, or Sport Sevet, was run by Mika and Harry. Like any good footy player, these guys constantly aimed to reach their goals, even when many of their physical ones were obstructed by Corona. They really have kept us in the sporting spirit. Last, but certainly not least, Tal, Nitzan, and Zach formed this year's Sionut, Zionism Sevet. Throughout the year, this power trio of Hebrew speakers showed us their zest for Israeli culture and current affairs, just like the delicious limonada they served us one fine old Friday chills. We are so proud of all that we have achieved this year as a group and are sad that our term has come to an end. On Rosh Hashanah, we recognise the eternal circle that is life. In this way, our term as Muskie Root is not an ending at all, but the beginning of a new season for us as we venture out to be the next generation of leaders outside of Bialik. As interesting as this year turned out for us, we know that the cycle will continue and the next group of Muskie Rim will be able to take things to a whole new level. We have very high hopes for the Muskie Root of 5781 and wish them all the best of luck. Thank you for letting us lead you this past year. We won't forget it anytime soon. Good night.
Thank you, Mia and Megan. My name is Deborah Farago, and it is my great privilege to introduce Murrindindi. Murrindindi is the Ngarrgee, or headman of the Wurundjeri tribe, and he's going to lead us through a traditional smoking ceremony to welcome us to country. I will now let Murrindindi take over from here.
Wominjika Ngarrgee Kundawa. Wominjika mean welcome. Ngarrgee Kundawa mean come and have a good day. My name Murrindindi means a home up in the mountain. I'm Ngarrgee, headman of the Wurundjeri people. The title was passed down to me in 2006 by my great uncle. I'd like to welcome my sisters and brothers from Bialik. I'd like to welcome Uncle Jim Burke, as a member of the Gudramara people. I'd like to welcome all elders here tonight onto the land of my people, the Wurundjeri people. Now, the Jewish religion is very, very spiritual. So is my culture. My religion is very, very spiritual. We've all got to come together in peace, harmony, and respect to respect one another. Okay, we might have an individual culture, but deep down, we are all sisters and brothers. We all must come together and learn and teach our children about their history, about their culture. As a young boy, I was fortunate enough to have my culture taught to me. As I was growing up, my grandmother, who brought me into the world, she said, son, one day you're going to be a teacher. You're going to be the head man of our people. You're going to be proud of your culture. You're going to be proud of your history. You're going to teach your culture. You're going to teach your history. But don't forget, everybody out in this wide world, we're equal. We are sisters and brothers of this earth. Okay, my ancestors, the Wurundjeri people were here. The English people came. Other cultures came. That's okay. This country is big enough for us all to live in. We've just got to understand one another's ways of peace, harmony, and respect. And if we can all come together like we have tonight, together in peace, harmony, and respect, we're going to give our children, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren, a better future and a better world to live in. When Bialik College asked me to do a welcome to country, I said I'd be honoured, because I was there last year. But doing it on the computer is completely different. Tonight, I have a fire going. I'm going to put what we call the native cherry on there first. The native cherry, we put that on there to give us food for the next 12 months, for the next year, for the next seasons. Then we put gum leaves on top of the native cherry. And I'll sing a song in my language, what has been passed down through generation and generation. There's only myself and my younger brother left what sing this song, so it's been passed down. So I'll just place the native cherry on the campfire. Hara bilaba, gara bilaba, bilaba, gara bilaba, gara bilaba, bidiga, lada bilaba, hara bilaba, bada. Hara bilaba, gara bilaba, bilaba, gara bilaba, gara bilaba, bidiga, lada bilaba, gara bilaba, bala. Hara bilaba, gara bilaba, bilaba, gara bilaba, gara bilaba, bidiga, lada bilaba, gara bilaba, bilaba, bala. Hara bilaba, gara bilaba, bilaba, gara bilaba, gara bilaba, bidiga, lada bilaba, gara bilaba, bala. Hara bilaba, gara bilaba, bilaba, gara bilaba, gara bilaba, bidiga, lada bilaba, gara bilaba, 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 bilaba. Woo! Wominjika, Ngarrgee Kundawa. Welcome on the land of my ancestors, Wurundjeri people. So we place the native cherry, then we place the gum leaf onto the fire, but not the manna gum. The manna gum, we hand out the manna gum. If we're there today at your school, I'd hand you out manna gum leaf. And the manna gum leaf is your passport whilst you're on my country. And that gives you a safe journey whilst you're on my country. So we've all got to just come together now, and we can get through this, we can get through anything. So I'd like to thank Bialik for inviting me along. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Murrindindi, for sharing that incredible wisdom with us and for welcoming us to your country. We are extremely grateful and honoured once again. I would like to now move on to the Q&A session for tonight, whereby a range of our students from years 5 to 12 have prepared questions of importance to them to ask you so that you can share more of your wisdom and experience with us tonight. I'd like to start by calling on Abby Prudell of grade 5.
Thank you. What is the history and reasoning behind the smoking ceremony and the didgeridoo playing that you just showed us?
Well, the didgeridoo was not played here in Victoria. The didgeridoo was gifted to us by up in Catherine by David Galpel. He gifted my family with the didgeridoo. And I started playing the didgeridoo as a young boy. And everybody thinks all Aboriginal people play didgeridoo. We don't. But I do. Now, I'm outside, so I can talk freely. My wife won't hear me. I have 21 didgeridoos because I play with orchestras and play with bands. And the didgeridoo is an unbelievable instrument to play. Now, the smoking ceremony, that was done to welcome other tribes and other groups into our area. Then we'd give them a manna gum leaf, and that's to give them their passport. So the smoking ceremony was very significant to Wurundjeri people and other groups throughout Australia. Thank you for your question.
Thank you, Murrindindi, and thank you, Abby. I'd now like to ask Daniel Kanarak of grade 5 as well to ask his question.
Thank you. What challenges have you been through in your life, and what lessons have they taught you that we can learn from you today?
I have had so many challenges in my life. I did not go to school. I had no white education. I could not read or write till the age of 35. Because of not having a white education, I found it very difficult to cope with. But my grandmother always said to me, and my mother, you'll get through it. So I'm self-taught to learn to read and write. I'm self-taught to how to work a computer. If you said to me 6 years ago, I would be working a computer, I'd say, no way. I love my Apple Mac computer. I love it. But the challenges were racism, discrimination, bullying, being called a half caste because your mother's Aboriginal and your father was not. My father was Scottish. And I've got through all those challenges. And the way I've got through them is I would not argue. I did not drink alcohol, did not take drugs. I did not smoke cigarettes. I come through healthy, and every day it's great to wake up to a new day. So there was a lot of challenges in my life, but now I think I've got the best life. I'm a very happy man. I've got the most gorgeous wife who I'm madly in love with. And we have 5 children and we have 9 grandchildren. But the challenges were hard, but I've got through them. But a lot of Aboriginal people would not get through those challenges, what I went through. So today, I am so proud of who I am. But it took me, I'm a man of 75 years old, 76 this year. So it took me a long time to get through the challenges, but I've been teaching now over the last 38 years, my culture and my history, and that's when I stood up for my rights. 36 years ago, I started teaching my culture. Thank you for your question, brother.
Thank you so much, Daniel, and thank you, Murrindindi.
Thank you.
I'd now like to call on Mia Wegener from Year 9 to ask her question.
How has the lockdown affected your ability to engage in your traditional practices and lifestyle?
Well, it has not affected me, to tell you the honest truth, because I'm a home person. I love being at home with my wife and my daughter. I'm a very lucky man. My daughter is 31 and I still have her living with us. And I will not let her leave. And she's got her partner, he lives with us. And it hasn't affected me at all. The only thing is, I can't get out to the schools, but I've been online every day teaching online. And there's a list, I've got a list a mile long where schools are waiting for me, where a school mightn't come online with me and they want me to call them. So it hasn't made any difference to me. The only thing is, I like to get out and move around, and I have not been off my property for 2 weeks. Tomorrow I'll be leaving my property to go and buy horse food because we got horses on our property. So I'll leave tomorrow. I generally go out every 2 weeks, just down to the local shop to buy some horse food. So it hasn't made any difference really. But I do feel sorry for some people who can't get out, and especially the elderly people, because my wife works in a nursing home. She cares for the elderly people, and I'm very, very proud of her for doing that. But yeah, so it hasn't affected me really, because I'm still working every day. But I feel sorry for those people who are not. I feel real sorry for them. Thank you for your question, sister. Thank you.
Thank you, Murrindindi, and thank you, Mia. I'd now like to call on Joe Waislitz of Year 10 to ask his question.
Hello, Murrindindi. As an Aboriginal elder, I was wondering, what is your opinion on the future and continuation of traditional Indigenous culture, particularly amongst the younger generation?
I can see my culture, our ceremonies are starting to die out. I was very lucky. My mother was the last one born on Corranderk Aboriginal Reserve, and I was taught my ceremonies as a young boy and as a young man growing up. My mother and my grandmother taught my daughter the ceremony, the female ceremonies. But at the age of 31, my daughter has sort of pushed her culture away a little bit, but that'll come back to her. So it's made it very difficult. But whilst I'm on this land, I'll always keep my culture surviving and keep my practices going and teach the young ones how to do it. We have several young fellas, a generation under me, 2 generations under me, very interested in their culture. So we try to get together to share our knowledge with them, the younger generation, and we just hope that they can keep it going. But I'm not going anywhere for a long, long time. I reckon I've got about another 100 years to go before I retire. So I'll never retire because I love what I'm doing, teaching my history and teaching my culture. Thank you for your question, brother.
Thank you.
Thank you, Murrindindi, and thank you, Joe. And I'd like to call on our final student to ask a question of Murrindindi, Ava Freed of Year 12.
Hello. As contemporary contemporary Australian youths, what can we do to contribute to this critical, albeit difficult, road to reconciliation?
What you could do is, I know it is a Jewish school, Bialik. There's other schools that I teach in where they give scholarships to Indigenous students. Today, as our grandchildren and our children must have a good white education to live to survive. They need good health, they need housing. But I don't know if your school does have an Aboriginal student at your school, but if you did, or even if you've got a friend as an Aboriginal person, make them feel welcome. Because Aboriginal people are a very, very shy race of people. If you had have met me, say, 40 years ago, I could not look at anyone and talk to people. I'd walk around with my head looking on the ground all the time, my eyes on the ground. I couldn't stand up and be proud of who I am. And there's still a lot of Aboriginal people out there with, they feel that they're sort of ashamed of who they are because of the way they've been treated. See, myself as a young boy growing up, we were told that we weren't Aboriginal. We had to tell people that we were Italian people. We had to deny our culture, which is very, very sad. So you just got to lend a helping hand to people. And if my grandmother was here, she always said, you've got to put your hand out to help one another. And if you put your hand out to help one another, you've done your deed for the day. And I try to put my hand out and help all race of people, not just Aboriginal people, my own people. I do believe I've been put on this land to bring peace and harmony and respect amongst all race of people. Yeah, just help one another is the most important thing. Thank you for your question, sister.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ava, and all of our students for those thoughtful questions. And thank you, Murrindindi, for hearing our students' voices and sharing your wisdom, heritage, and experiences with them. I'm sure everybody here tonight would agree that so much of what you shared is so pertinent and valuable always, but in this time in particular. Your experiences of education that you overcame yourself, the challenges that you faced, and the way that you've approached them with optimism and with a spirit of can do is something so pertinent for what our students are going through at this very, very moment. And the love and compassion that you share, not just for people of your own culture and heritage, but of all people, is a valuable lesson for every single one of us. And I think that the love and embrace and importance that you place in the past and future of your heritage, culture, and people is really a pertinent lesson for everyone and for our students and what we are trying to instill in them regarding their own culture, heritage, and of course that of others. This is an experience that I'm sure that none of our students will ever forget, and I cannot thank you enough on their behalf.
It's my pleasure, brother. Thank you.
Yeah.
It gives me great pleasure to now introduce Jessie Stolinda, who'll be blowing the shofar for us tonight. The blowing of the shofar is synonymous with the time of Elul and Rosh Hashanah. Blown every day since the start of the month, the sound of the shofar is a reminder and a call to action for us to ready and better ourselves for the end and the beginning of the new year. Judaism recognizes that working on ourselves and our relationships with those around us takes time, it takes effort, it's not easy, and we sometimes need that extra little push to work hard, and the sound of the shofar is there to do just that. And how special it is tonight to begin our evening with a didgeridoo ceremony by the wonderful Murrindindi, and then finish our evening with the blowing of the shofar. So without further ado, Jessie will now blow all of the 4 traditional blasts of the shofar. Take it away, Jessie. That was incredible, Jessie. That's a task that seems very easy to all of us looking on, but it's incredibly hard. And Jessie, you did a fantastic job. Thank you so much. As Zach explained earlier tonight, this is the time of year which brings with it the end and the beginning of the Year 12 student leadership team, the Ngarrgee. We heard the words from two members of the cohort who are now finishing their tenure as Ngarrgee. And now it is with a tremendous amount of pride I would like to welcome Galia Melter and Ethan Zohar to address us for the very first time as members of the Ngarrgee cohort of 5781.
Principal Jeremy Stolinda, honoured guests, staff, students and all members of our wonderful community, good evening. The end of the Jewish year gives rise to many new beginnings. Whilst Rosh Hashanah celebrates endings and change, it is also a chance for new opportunities and new experiences. The introduction of a new year marks the beginning of a new cycle and a new journey, perfectly aligned with the introduction of the 5781 Ngarrgee. Despite these unprecedented circumstances, we are honoured to take on this leadership position and are excited to begin this role among members of the community here tonight. We are privileged to be with you all tonight and to share with you what marks the start of our Ngarrgee journey. Tonight we have had the honour to have been joined by Murrindindi, an inspirational leader of the Wurundjeri people and a role model who demonstrates what it means to be a great leader. Leadership is about being able to unify a group of people by lifting up those around us to create a culture where everyone feels as though they belong. This evening is a wonderful example of this. By creating a positive and accepting environment in Bialik community, we have been able to stay connected even through these difficult times.
On our journey to becoming new Ngarrgee members, we have witnessed firsthand the impact of past school leaders in and around the school and wider Bialik community. The new Ngarrgee is coming in with many leadership experiences under our belts and have a true understanding of how to lead our community. Having been through a year that wasn't quite what we expected, the last Ngarrgee has managed to keep our spirits up, and we wish to emulate their enthusiasm and support as we take on this role. Every leader needs someone to look up to, and we are grateful to have had such inspiring leaders who have left big shoes for us to fill. We, as the upcoming school leaders, are eager and grateful for this opportunity to be leaders ourselves, to be given a chance to lead by example and be role models for Bialik and the wider community. Each member of the Ngarrgee understands the importance of leadership, a role we don't take lightly. We look forward to leading with school values at the forefront of our minds: respect, integrity, perseverance, empathy, and responsibility. We have all been incredibly dedicated and committed to the school over the years and are aware of the influence and responsibility that characterizes this unique role. We are so excited to finally have a chance to show Bialik what we have to offer. On behalf of the new Ngarrgee, we hope to create a motivating and positive culture here at Bialik, a culture that is inclusive and a collaborative environment where students feel safe and accepted. Bialik is a school that actively connects to their wider community, and we also hope to maintain that connection and love for our community through Tikkun Olam projects and working with those from our community. Thank you so much to everyone who is involved tonight, and we can't wait to get started on an amazing year ahead. Thanks and Shana Tova.
Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the Bialik College Foundation chairs Michael Karp and Stacey Dodge, and for the Parents Association, we would like to thank the outgoing Ngarrgee of 5780. As Murrindindi said, you really put your hands out there to help one another and your whole community, and we are, as community engaged people ourselves, so very proud of all that you've achieved, including helping the Parents Association at the beginning of the year with the bushfire relief. We're very appreciative. We'd like to wish you the best of luck for all your future endeavours and for your exams. Now, this might be a good time for the parents who have helped us today. We've been around town to see all of the parents to gift a small gift of thanks to each of our Ngarrgee to thank you for everything that you've done for our community this year. So if the parents would like to give this gift at the moment, we might be able to see if we turn it off speaker view onto gallery view and see our Mazkirim getting their books of things from all of us. It's Stand Up, because it's about Jewish leaders helping a wider community, and we believe that's what we're going to be seeing from all of you. And please stay in touch. Over to you, Jeremy.
Thank you so much. That has been an incredible evening and a groundbreaking one. The Jewish community and the Aboriginal community have an important and shared recent history. A month after Kristallnacht in December 1938, having witnessed in the news the atrocities that were beginning against the Jewish communities in Germany and in Austria, Indigenous Australian William Cooper led a delegation from his home to the German consulate here in Melbourne, delivering a letter protesting against the violence. When Mr. Cooper and members of the Australian Aboriginal League arrived at the consulate, they weren't allowed inside, and a letter was passed on to the guard. According to his grandson, at the time, William Cooper had most probably never met a Jew. But what's amazing is that when he saw it, not only did he call it out, but he wanted to do something about it. And what is even more amazing is this was not a time of peace for the Indigenous community. It was a time in the midst of the stolen generations. It was a time when Indigenous Australians didn't even have legal citizenship in their own country. It was 55 years before the Mabo decision and the Native Title Act. It's an inspiring story. Our two communities, they know what injustice looks like. Our ancestors have the scars of it on their skin and through their children and their own ancestors. I'd like to thank, on behalf of the Bialik College community, Wurundjeri headman Murindindi, 82 years after William Cooper's hand of friendship for inclusion and tolerance, that Murindindi, you have shaken our hand again tonight. You've shared stories and celebrated leadership and celebrated those who stand up. And your own story is a privilege for us to hear. So what a privilege it is during this time of great challenge that our two communities come together this evening to celebrate a new year of health and safety and fairness and grace. And what a time in our own school as well, to be farewelling our Mazkirot and welcoming our new Mazkirim, reflecting that spiral of life, bringing in a new generation of leaders to lead us in equality and justice. We thank our outgoing Mazkirot for their leadership, resilience, creativity, care, flexibility during these times. You have faced great challenge and you have risen to it every time. And we welcome our new Mazkirim to the leadership of the Bialik family. I'd like to take this opportunity as well to thank a few people for tonight, the students who've asked outstanding questions: Ava Freed, Daniel Kanarek, Abby Hudel, Joe Weislitz, and Mia Wegener, and inspiring answers. Murindindi, I've heard you a couple of times, but the insights into your own story is inspiring to us all. Our Mazkirot leaders, Mia, Malka, Gali Meltzer, Megan Sweden, Ethan Zohar, thank you for putting your best foot forward again for us tonight. And a huge thank you to our colleagues who visioned and organized this incredible event, possibly a first of its kind. Deb Farago, Zach Gomo, and Maeve Sloanin, thank you. It is an inspiring event and set of stories for us to go to bed on and for us to bring in the new year with. And supported by Essie Bohan, Tanya Sherney, Sally Robin, the College Foundation, and the Bialik College Parent Association. So thank you. Thank you for attending tonight. I wish you a safe, a healthy, and a happy new year, a year of family, a year of growth, a year of community. I wish you Shana Tova.
Shana Tova, everybody. Have a great night.
Shana Tova. Have a fabulous night.
Thank you. Shana Tova.
Shana Tova. Thank you very much, everybody.
Was amazing. Thank you.
Shana Tova. Thank you.
Very nicely, thank you. Okay.
Shana Tova.
Good night. Good
Shana
night,
Tova.
guys.
236.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Cup of tea, darling.
Donatova, thank you.
Thank you all for coming, Shana Tova.
Shana Tova.
Thank you for a wonderful experience. Thank you.
Thank you. It's great. We loved it.
Hi, May.
It's nice.
Shana Tova, everyone.
Shana Tova.